All right, boys, so this is part 2 of the quadratic formula. So you saw how to do some easy examples and then some examples that contain no real solution. So these ones are like of medium level, and the reason they're medium is because they will still have a radical in the answer. Okay, so before you had square roots that you did know, well, now you're not going to be able to actually give me the square root of the number underneath the radical symbol. So, like I said before, these need to be in standard form, and I do believe this one is. And there's our formula. So just like we did before, let's go ahead and plug these numbers in. So x equals, b is already negative, so 3 plus or minus, this would be what? Negative 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1, all divided by 2 times 1, equals 3 plus or minus, negative 3 squared is 9, and then do not forget, this is going to be a minus. We are going to multiply these together. So 4 times 1 times the negative 4 is negative 4. But then you guys know that that's actually going to end up to be a positive. And I'll fix that in a second. Divide by 2. So now we have x equals 3 plus or minus. And then we're going to get what 9 plus 4 is the radical 13, all divided by 2. Okay, so let me just show you that on the next slide. So here is our answer that we got. Now, as you can see, you do not know the radical of 13. Okay, so technically, this is the answer. Okay, now if you wanted to, you can write it as two answers. So you can do x equals, like we did before, 3 plus radical 13, all divided by 2. And then 3 minus radical 13 divided by 2. So these are my answers, but you could say this is the simplified answer if you would like to just box this. Okay, so there's no reason to actually separate this. So you can literally just leave it as the plus or minus in the center. Okay, let me do another one for you. Well, this one will not be as easy. So there's our problem. It's in standard form. So there's our A, B, and C. There's our quadratic formula. So let's plug our numbers in. So since b is already negative, it'll just be a positive. B negative 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times 1, all divided by 2 times 3, equals 6 plus or minus. So let's simplify the radical. And then we're going to multiply these. You're going to get minus 12, all divided by 6. Okay, so I'm still going to keep simplifying underneath the radical. So 6 plus or minus radical 24, all divided by 6. Now, from here, you need to look at the radical. You must break this apart. And this is from a few chapters ago, is you need to find a square root inside of 24. Okay, so let me just recopy that answer one more time. Okay, so like I was saying, we need to break that apart. So if you think about it, the radical of 24 has the radical of 4 and the radical of 6. So this becomes 2, it's radical 6. So if I show you this, you get 6 plus or minus 2 radical 6. Notice that I'm replacing the 24 over 6. So that's my answer. But we need to reduce, and this is important, reduce all numbers except radical. So if you think about this, you have this 6, this 2, and this 6. So a number that can go into all three of them would be 2. So we're going to, whoops, sorry about that. We're going to divide by 2. So my answer is x equals 3 plus or minus, you're going to get a 1 here. Now you don't need to write it, all over 3. So here is my simplified answer. And I don't need to actually break it apart into the plus or minus because I don't have to, but that's what you would get. So if you told me that the answer was this up here, I would mark it wrong because that is not fully simplified. Okay, you need to break apart the 24 like we did. And the last part is to reduce your outside numbers except for your radical symbol. Okay, all right, I have one more for you. All right, so again, make sure it's in standard form. ABC, quadratic formula, and let's plug everything in. So that's going to be a positive 6, and that would be negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 11, all divided by 2 times 1. So 6 plus or minus, we get 36. And I'm going to actually take the negative this time, and I'm going to multiply. So it's going to be a positive 44 divided by 2. And if I keep simplifying, it looks like 36 plus 44 is a whopping 80 divided by 2. So far so good. Now, as you can see, that 80 is a pretty big number, so we need to break that apart. So here is the same answer that you just had. And hopefully you're thinking of how you can break apart the 80. So if we do that, I believe we could try 4, but I think 16 actually works the best. So radical 16, radical 5, so this becomes a 4. Circle that. So if I rewrite this, you're getting 6 plus or minus, then you get 4 radical 5, all divided by 2. Again, notice I just replaced the radical of 80 with 4 times radical 5. And then obviously we need to reduce all numbers except radical. So it looks like we're going to divide by 2 because those can all be reduced by 2. So our final answer would be 3 plus or minus 2 radical 5 all over 1. The 1's not needed, but I'm going to keep it anyway. And there's my answer. All right, so now you can get your assignment, which is a worksheet, and please also download the notes that you can refer to instead of watching the video again. And good luck, boys. See you next time.